I swear to you, I'm not kidding around. I genuinely thought that this was a parody. It was only because it was being covered by the Toronto Sun that I realized it was actually authentic.
The best defense for most people is to comply, as you've just heard, a number of safety recommendations.
I honestly could not tell you whose response was worse because just listen to these for a moment. So according to the CBC, a boy who was 12 years old is currently released on bail after a Markham shooting as victim's family decries devastating failure of the system. There's more. A targeted home invasion in Abbotsford. On Wednesday at approximately 11:37, Abbotsford Police Patrol officers responded to reports of a home invasion in the 27800 block. There's more. Of course, there's the story we're all familiar with by now. The brother of the Vaughan man killed in the brazen home invasion says his family is currently living a nightmare. Here's what he had to say.
It's every Canadian story, right? Spending time with your loved ones, and then they're just snatched away. 3 cowards came in and changed everything for our family that night. And I urge that everyone reflect on that. And, as Canadians, we understand that we need some change. We need ourselves to feel safe going at home. When we lock our door, it's our choice when we open it the next morning. It's not someone else's.
Agreed. We're not done yet. Within the last 24 hours, according to the National Post, a woman was kidnapped. Her family member was shot, yet another Ontario home invasion. So the reason why I'm going over all of that is because after a while, people would understand that naturally, you would get fed up. This is not the justice system that one would sign up for. So you would think that the police would be doing more in regards to handling the criminals. So I was reading through a couple articles today, and one particular one caught my attention because I absolutely could not believe what it is that I was hearing. It was almost on the exact same level of stupidity when an officer said, basically, leave your keys at the front so the thieves, when they come in, they just grab the keys and they go.
You can't be this dumb.
At this point, they're going to start telling you if you don't want your doors being broken, just leave the door open. If you don't want your window smashed, leave it open. Point blank, why should you own anything? Pretty much belongs to the thieves now. So here's what this cop had to say. Here's his lovely advice.
In the unlikely event that you find yourself the victim of a home invasion, we are urging citizens not to take matters into their own hands. While we don't want homeowners to feel powerless, we urge you to call 911 and do everything you can to keep yourself and loved ones safe until police arrive and be the best witness possible. This could mean locking yourself in a room away from the perpetrators, hiding, fleeing the home, but don't engage unless absolutely necessary. When we have a weekend like we just had, it's easy to understand our community is feeling unsafe. But let me say this once again, this does remain a safe place to live. And our service is doing everything possible to investigate these crimes and to maintain public safety. But as I mentioned, it is a shared responsibility, and we need the commitment of everyone in our community, including the criminal justice system, to ensure our region remains safe and secure. In closing, I'd just like to remind the public that as a police service, our top priority is the safety of all of our communities. And I know that these incidents have had a devastating impact on the families involved and the broader community.
Do you have any concerns about the fact that the Premier is saying you should stand up for yourself and you should defend yourself?
No, I have no concerns. The Premier can make his own statement and his own mind up about that. What I would say is, as our police service, we'll follow the laws as they're written. If the laws change, we'll change with the laws. But as it stands, we know the best defense for most people is to comply. As you've just heard, a number of safety recommendations will allow for those that are victimizing members in the community to leave and not harm anyone. It sometimes can fall on deaf ears when members feel like they have to take matters into their own hands. And the only thing I'd say is, if we are going to rely on our community members to take matters into their own hands to solve this problem, we have all failed our community. So I'll leave political comments to the politicians and let them have those conversations. But for now, the laws are written, we'll follow those laws. Advice is to rely on our police service, call 911 immediately, and let us take it from there. We see more often than not when people comply that, injuries are not happening and people are not victimized in terms of injury, or in this case, unfortunately, we've seen the loss of life in some of these incidents.
I swear to you, I'm not kidding around. I genuinely thought that this was a parody. It was only because it was being covered by the Toronto Sun that I realized it was actually authentic. I thought they were doing a parody of The Last Guy.
There's also updated advice for all vehicle owners, a message echoed by Toronto Police speaking at an Etobicoke safety meeting last month. Constable Marco Ricciardi had a new message for vehicle owners who keep their fobs in Faraday pouches.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door. Because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
So in a nutshell, both of their logic is to comply at the end of the day with the criminal. That way you won't get hurt. Never mind the fact that the guy in Vaughan, he was complying and he still, you know what happened. But if that's the case, why would you even make it that difficult for the criminal? You might as well, if they want the car, leave the keys outside. Why do you want your door broken down? Why do you want your window smashed? Why do you want them breaking in? Why do you want them troubling and traumatizing your kids if you have some? You might as well just leave either the door unlocked, the garage door open, your jewelry downstairs, cash on the table. It's Halloween for the criminal at this point. Out of this entire speech, this officer said one thing that he's correct on, one thing that made sense.
If we are going to rely on our community members to take matters into their own hands to solve this problem, we have all failed our community. So I'll leave political comments to the politicians and let them have those conversations. But for now, the laws are written, we'll follow those laws.
That is about the only thing he said that was actually correct. That the laws are written, they will let the politicians do what politicians do. They'll have to discuss that. In short, what he's advising is they have to follow the laws that are on the books. So the problem falls back to change the blasted laws.
Is to rely on our police service, call 911 immediately, and let us take it from there. We see more often than not when people comply that...
You ever had to call the police for a situation like a home invasion? They show up after the fact. The deed is already done. Your house has already been burglarized. Your car is already gone. Something of yours has already been taken, but the deed is already done. They just show up basically just to collect a report and then launch their investigation, but everything is already finished off. In the meantime, though, you've had your property damaged, so calling the police is really for after the fact. What people really have a problem with is currently there is really no deterrent to stop the invader from invading in the first place. There is a way to deter a criminal.
I wonder.
However, Canada just says that's not allowed right now. So change the laws. It's your stuff. You have a right to defend it. It's your house. You have a right to defend it. It's your family. You have a right to defend and protect them at the same time. I will stand by what I said. That is the one aspect of what this officer here, even though everything else that he said currently was foolish. But this case, yes, he's completely 100% correct. The criminal code that's followed needs to be changed to be pro-citizen, as opposed to currently, right now, it feels like pro-criminal. Comply. Did you hear how he was talking when he was even saying this? Like he's not even convinced that he has to be up here saying this speech. Listen to him.
We have all failed our community. So I'll leave political comments to the politicians and let them have those conversations. But for now, the laws are written, we'll follow those laws. Advice is to rely on our police service, call 911 immediately, and let us take it from there. We see more often than not when people comply.
Sir, you're not even convinced of what you're saying, so stop it. Right now, people actually feel like if they have to take matters into their own hands, because how long do you keep on doing the exact same thing and expecting and hoping that something changes? Because it feels like what y'all are doing isn't working. And trust me, if people feel like if it isn't working and the police cannot be relied on, they'll protect their family one way or another and just deal with whatever comes afterwards. Are you in the camp of just doing what this officer says, or are you one of those that would take matters into your own hands? Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you again on the next one. Easy, y'all.